Hello, hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Press Club Live. My name is Chilufya Mwelwa. Well, quickly before we start our program, a quick look at stories making headlines. An Amnesty International report quoting witnesses and activists says at least 200 civilians have been killed in Russian airstrikes in Syria. The report findings indicate serious failures by Russia to respect international humanitarian law. Moscow has repeatedly denied causing civilian deaths, describing such claims as part of information warfare. And so we have more in terms of news coming later after this show at 16 hours. We'll take a quick break and I introduce to you my guests on the program. We're counting down to the end of the year. This is part one. Next week we'll have part two, but today is exciting. You don't want to miss this. Hello, hello. Welcome to Press Club Live. If you're just joining us, good afternoon to you. Today, I'm surrounded by gentlemen, and they're here to speak about what they're doing in their various fields in regards to supporting women and also just speaking out on social evils. Today, we focus on the 2015 men's influence. We've had so many issues in the year 2015, and some men have taken it upon themselves to speak up and raise awareness on some of these issues ranging from gender-based violence, issues ranging from pulling her down, pulling him down, and bringing down each other in terms of just wanting to reach out and become ambitious and reach our goals, but we don't support one another, especially women. Well, today on the program, I'm privileged to be joined by Magnus Mando, Magg44. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you on the show.
Good to see you.
Right. Also joining us, not a stranger to TV2, our very own Brian Wembia B-Flow is in the house. Hello.
Hello, super fantastic delicious B flow in the area.
Ooh, awesome.
Teach me how to do that.
You should. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Usually I have, I sort of balance the show, but today I just wanted to give it to the men, because next week I'll be doing another one just for the women.
Wow, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So later on the show, we're expecting to be joined by Pastor Steady Divine, who's also doing phenomenal stuff in terms of encouraging people. He's a life coach, but talking about relationships and also speaking on how men must respect their women.
Nice.
Awesome stuff. So to get started quickly, maybe I'll start with you, Brian. When you hear the word woman, what comes to your mind?
Okay, I wish I could show you what's written on my t-shirt here.
I care about my wife, daughter, mother, sister. Don't violate them.
That's what comes to my mind.
Nice.
Wow.
My mother, my sister, my daughter, my wife.
Yeah.
Every woman, my aunt, every woman that I see anywhere in any community, for me, represents that good person that contributes something even to what a man becomes in society. I believe that the values that we uphold in society, even as men, are as a result of the time that we spent with our mothers. Because our mothers have more time with us than our fathers.
So for you, that female
presence, a woman is a role model to me. Is a role model.
Awesome. I like that. Magnus, for you?
A woman, when I think of a woman, I think she's like an example of love. Because there's just the love that a woman has is far beyond when you, only a woman can portray what real love is, whether it's a mother to a daughter, a mother to a child, just a wife to a husband. Like, women have got so much more power. In my album, I've got a song there called Nchito. Basically, it just talks about how a woman can do anything. A lot of the times society has tried to limit what a woman can do, but I think a woman can do anything because she's got so much love in her, because she's got so much power, and I feel like that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about when someone says woman, you know,
Yeah,
that's
I know I've looked at both your albums.
Yeah.
You've done a song, "Strength of a Woman."
yeah.
Yeah, album
Different songs with
Or
the word woman.
in there, and then you also have one, "Strength of a Woman."
Well, it's called Nchito.
Nchito.
It actually, I have an interlude in the album
Okay.
where Jagari Chanda is explaining, you know, how powerful a woman is, saying that, look, women in essence are stronger than men because of how much they have to take, and how much, I mean, they are expected to do the work that a man is supposed to do and beyond. So and take care of the family and do so much. So I definitely had to. I mean, I was raised by a single mom.
And that's where I wanted to go.
Yeah,
Is your work coming from a background of having gone through a situation where you feel you need to stand up and speak for women?
Yeah.
You were going to get into your upbringing, yeah?
Definitely. I mean, I was raised, like I said, my mom, my dad passed on when I was 5. So my mom pretty much raised us. My mom then later on passed on when I was about 16 years old.
Okay.
So my older sister, who used to work here actually, Kundamando, she practically raised me, took me to college, took me to school, taught me how to be a man. So, you know, sometimes when men try to isolate themselves from women, it doesn't make any sense because, like, who taught you how to be a man? You know what I mean? It's a woman. So at the end of the day, there is a lot of respect. There's a lot of, you know, power that is taken away from women, but when they do so much, you know, and I feel like even for me, the courage, like with the name of the album, Brave Only, I feel that the fear left. I had a lot of fears, you know. I had a lot of fear of what people would say about my music, as you know, I do gospel music, but I talk about real issues, and sometimes people are like, "Hey, a Christian shouldn't say that," and whatnot. You know what I mean? But I feel that fearlessness also came just when I married my wife. My wife gave me that thing of, look, you can do anything. I'm here. I'm supporting you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And right now, I just feel like I'm at a point in my life where no one can tell me anything because
like you can do it all.
I can do it all. I can do it all. And it's power that comes from the women in my life. My older sister, my mother, my wife. So yeah.
Awesome. Brian, for you, how was it?
Well, I did not know that we
Share
share
the
a
same
similar
story.
story.
Yeah.
I was raised by a single mother. I've never actually experienced the love of a father. I've never experienced what it means to be taught anything by a father or a man, because everything I am today is as a result of the lessons, the love, the care, and the time that I had with and from my mom. So I've been with my mom all the time, and as a young person, we are two in our family, me and my young brother, and both of us are very good men. I'm proud to say I'm a good man.
If you must say so
because
yourself.
I can testify.
And I was taught how to be a man. I'll echo the words of Magg, by a woman, and that's my mother. And I always wished that my mother could have a voice in society and speak out for some of the things that she was going through, because I saw the struggles even at the time. You know, mothers have got this tendency of not wanting to disclose what they are really feeling inside, because they want their children to feel comfortable all the time despite what they're going through. But it's at the middle of the night when everybody else is sleeping that the pain is really experienced by them, because now they are contemplating and thinking of what will happen next, you know. So I saw how sometimes we could not eat, we could not have lunch. I could see her trying to make a garden in the backyard. I saw her when she was unemployed. My mother did not have so much education. And so I could see the struggles that a woman could go through in a situation where she's unemployed or not educated and all that stuff. And I wish that society could give such opportunities to women, always. I remember when I was about 10 years old, I felt like I wish I could be my mother's spokesperson and speak out for her one time. And that's why I think I called my album Voiceless Woman, because I thought that a woman needed a voice. And I feel we're at a point in society when women can speak. I believe you, Chilufya, can speak for yourself very well, but you also need the support of the men. And that's why it's very important that good men should be able to amplify the voices of women.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're joined by Pastor Steady Divine. Hello.
Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Here.
Good to have you,
Thank you so
on the
much.
show.
Thank
We're
you so
talking about, what has inspired, these good men here in terms of speaking out for women, speaking out on issues that are happening in society, evils in society. And I know that you have, your fair share of life, and you are also vying for the woman to be respected, especially in terms of relationships.
Well, I mean, that's definite. I think it's also a risky business because when you stand for the women, because a lot of guys don't like you.
That's true. That's true.
I always give an example. One time I was going to do a show with Keith Smash, and he was telling his friends, "Hey guys, tune in. I'm going to be, chatting with Steady Vine on the show." He says, "No, I don't listen to that guy. He's always defending the women and speaking up for the women." But I think a lot of times men don't realize that. I've made a statement over and over and says I would take a bullet for the women, because I think women need men that are strong enough. I've always said a woman needs a man with strong shoulders to be able to carry her and not faint. And unfortunately, we live in a society where there are not too many good men, out there that are able to allow a woman to become successful and just secure enough that she's doing pretty good and she's pushing her dreams and pushing her agenda. There's certain things a woman shouldn't deal with, in her life, because there's a man in her life. But unfortunately, a lot of our women, like my brothers have said, a lot of our women are dealing with issues they're not supposed to be dealing with, because too many CCs out there, So unfortunately, men are not stepping out and supporting the women to be able to achieve their dreams. And it's a man's responsibility, and that's why I said I don't make apologies, like today I put up a quote that also got me in trouble.
I saw that, and I was going to ask you about that. Where you're speaking of, if she's a queen, crown her. If you don't, then leave her, let somebody else crown her,
and just go continue being
a clown.
Man, you followed that. She said it. I had to read it. She had to say it from the
Because I was like, okay, that's a bit harsh. But then also, there's so much debate out there. Like you're saying, people will think, well, this guy, he's trying to be funny, telling us what to do. Others would think you're all in, you're in entertainment. You're doing something, of course, that's close to your heart. But at the same time, you're showing out your talent and making money out of it. Others would say it's a publicity stunt. Y'all just want to sell your album.
The social enterprise.
Sell rooms and people come in.
Sell coaching sessions.
Which is it?
Exactly. I think if for me, I've listened to Biflo, I've listened to Magg 44, and I've worked with these guys. You notice that men that are seated out on this panel are not men that are driven by money. You notice that they're men that are driven by passion. If you never paid me for what I do, I would still show up and be able to do my assignment and do my job. It's good to make the money out of what you're passionate about. But people misunderstand these things because they feel like it's about status, it's about getting likes and comments, or just drive traffic to what you're doing and make money out of what you're doing. But I mean, I am glad that I have to sit on a panel with men that are, it's passion. It's beyond. If you asked us, you'll notice that we put in more of our own money in what we do than what we get. If you asked us, people would be able to tell you that. So I think and I am so excited that you brought up a topic like this to be able to speak and the men to be able to stand up and be a voice. Look at what is happening in our country. A man gets his gun and puts it on the head of a woman. You said, I do too. You said, you promise you. Because a woman is just entrusted in your care. You are a custodian. At the end of your life, you will have to give an audit report of what you did with a woman that was entrusted in your care. Whether you're married to her, whether she's a woman you're dating, or women you intend to work with. And unfortunately, there are a lot of men that are playing with women's emotions out there. And that's why we need to have more men standing up and speaking out and being a voice.
Right. I want to find out, do you men, good men sitting here, have people you look up to, influential people that you look up to, or influential men that you look up to and say, this one's making a difference and I want to be like him when I grow up?
Definitely. I mean, there's my business partner's father. I mean, unfortunately, he's not someone, he's a celebrity. I don't really look up to.
Be a celebrity. Exactly.
I don't really, So for me, he's Mr. Isaac Chitundu. He's such a huge influence on my life. I love the way he loves his wife. Like, I love the way he takes care of his home. It's just like, to me, I just say, wow, one day I want to be like this man. He's such a wise man. He's such an understanding man. I remember when we started our studio, he allowed us to use like a bedroom in the house. And, you know, we were making noise. We were making noise.
But he
allowed us to be creative. And I just loved, and mom, Ian's mom, she was always like encouraging us, even when it wasn't making sense. You know, even when it wasn't making money at the time, she would always encourage us and say, look, you can do it, you can do it. And, you know, now, I even get upset sometimes with myself. I'm like, snap. I need to go visit them because now I'm so busy, and now I'm too busy for them. You know what I mean? So it's like, but you know, there are people who just believe in you. You know, and I feel that that belief mainly comes from women. You know, when we usually get that. That's why I feel like a lot of men get really hurt when a woman puts them down, when their wife puts them down, when their mother, like if your mother puts you down, that's it. You know what I mean? When really, even if the whole world loves you, but your mother doesn't love you, you know what I mean? So it's like us as men, as much as we try to deny it, we need the love from our women.
We cry privately.
We do it, yes. You know what I mean? We do. That's the honest truth. No matter how gangster you are. But I mean, if Tupac can sing a song about his mother, you know, there must be something there. So that's I think that's.
What about for you, Brian?
I have a couple of people that are very influential in my life, and these are people who are not famous. I went to a church called Healing Temple under the Pentecostal Assemblies of God in Kabwe about 11 years ago. And there are people I met there, like one Elder Chama, who still lives in Kabwe, and I actually visited him yesterday in Kabwe. He's a very good man. He's a man that has inspired me, even from the way he just loves his family, the way he loves his daughters, the way he loves his wife, and the way he just takes care of them, and the way he talks about them proudly. Really, really inspires me, and I feel there are not so many men out there that are able to proudly speak about their wives, maybe because other people find out that they are married. I don't know.
I don't know what they have to hide, but
the market,
right.
You know, the market. You don't want to lose the market. Yes, and then there's another one called Uncle Chikopela. Uncle Chikopela is around, he's in Lusaka, he's in Libala, and he's a man that I really love to visit. He encourages me a lot about my relationships, about how I can continue to be that voice that amplifies the voices of women. He's just amazing with the way he also shows love and care to his family and his wife.
Right. For you, study quickly as we get to the next question.
Well, I think for me, it's my spiritual father. I mean, Dr. Nevis Mumba. I think for me, he's been an excellent example. Dr. Mumba is just the bomb diggity for me.
Yes.
The bomb diggity.
You know, awesome. I mean, he's inspired me. He's put it on. And secondly, I'm actually writing a book about him. It's my covenant brother, Charles. You know, he lives in the United Kingdom. I think there are a few good men, and Charles Mtonga has been a man like that to me. If you want to look at a man that takes care of his kids, who raises his children and takes care of his wife, even in his, you know, state where he's been challenged, you know, he was involved in an accident, you know, he uses his crutches, but he's an excellent father. I mean, I could never have asked for a better gift than a covenant brother like him, because he's an example of a great man, he's an example of a great father. When I look at him, I told him, I said, I must write a book about you, you know, the portrait of godly manhood. And that guy is a man for me.
Right. After all, they do say that all men can father a child, but it takes a man to be a father.
To be a father, nice.
All right. But also, your work, you know, in doing what you're doing, I know there are challenges. Like you said, already friends sometimes look at you and say, dude, what you're doing is ridiculous. You know, society has its own sort of perceived norms of how women should be treated. I, for example, grew up knowing that girls should be in the kitchen and shouldn't sort of pursue certain things only for guys and whatnot. So how do you then sort of balance between what society and tradition is saying and the fact that women have to come out and speak and be free and express themselves, and you doing your work in pushing that agenda forward? Brian, you can go first.
Well, for me, it's, I think I persevere because, like I told you, it's got a lot to do with my background, my upbringing, and what my environment has presented, you know. having lived in such an environment where I really know what women have gone through, and I really know what women are still going through in this country, for me, it just drives me to just go ahead and do the right thing. I've always observed that when you're doing something really good, even Jesus Christ, you face a lot of opposition, and it's normal. I think it's normal for society sometimes not to be
on your side.
Not to be on your side all the time, you know. So I choose to just carry on. Even when I look at my album Voiceless Woman, when I started, I had a lot of resistance from even the fans themselves, because they wanted me to be dance hall. They wanted me to continue with the kind of vibe I was giving them on my first album. I had fellow artists speak against what I was doing, others thinking it's a money-making venture. I'm just trying to win the hearts of the NGOs, you know. Sometimes I had women, you know, sometimes I had women say, but we can speak for ourselves. Do we need someone to say he's our voice? And all that stuff. And I never said I was the voice. It's people that said, oh, the voice of women, you know. Yeah, the voice for the women and all that stuff. Yeah, so, but for me, when I saw the success that that album brought at the end of it, or because of the perseverance that I attached to it, it made me realize that when you persevere and you really believe in what you're doing, no matter what they say, you will definitely succeed and be able to get the results that you're looking for.
Yeah. For you, Magg, I know you've done so many interesting songs on your new album. You've done one for your wife as well. You've also done one where you're talking about us as Africans using our skills to persevere.
Yes. I think, like, for this album, I wanted to propose a mentality. You know, like a lifestyle that Africans can adopt, and I feel like that's when the society will change. Society won't change when you get a new president. Society won't change when we take out ministers. It's a mindset of every single person. That's true. We need to be thinking a certain way, and that's when the level will go up. Because, I mean, of course, the impact from one person is important, but I'm thinking if all of us as Zambians, as Africans, said, look, we are able to build our own machinery, or we are able to source our own funds, you know what I mean? If all of us as Africans said, look, we are able to do this, there is no way we can fail. So what I feel, even people will always challenge what we say. We say, okay, look, if we're talking about women now, why are you talking about women? Why are you doing love songs? Why are you doing this? You know, at the end of the day, for me, I know that if we have a certain mentality as people, we'll be able to achieve great things. And I feel that's what we are all trying to promote, trying to see, look, what if we thought like this? What if as Africans we lived outside this box that has been created for us? Then what are we going to be able to do? And I think that's an important thing to do.
I think we're trying to show an example of how it should be.
How it should be.
That's why sometimes, like, for me, I'm involved in this campaign called I Care About Her, and it's strictly for men who want to stand up for women and be able to show that they care and also influence other men to be part of that. So I think we're just trying to be an example that others can also emulate. It's like what he said, where you say, how about if we did things this way? What about if you became something like what Magg 44 has been? What of another man out there, can they also emulate and do the same?
All right. Steady, your views on this?
Well, I think for me, as the mind goes, so the man follows. You know, if we change the way we think.
All right. I'm being given a sign quickly. Sorry to disturb you. We have a caller on the line. Hello. Oh, we lost you. Please call us and you get through to the program. Contribute, question, and just your comment. We're talking 2015 men's influence, and we have very influential men in the studio doing their work, and you can play a part too. It's not too late. 2016 is just around the corner. Steady, you were on the floor.
Yeah, so I think mindset is very critical to the shaping you know, of our trends and our cultures, and men becoming more responsible, you know, and men beginning to change the face of this country and the continent. And I like the fact we're speaking on an African level, so it's not just local as Zambia, but Africa. So the influence starts from Zambia, and we are taking it out there and exporting it out, and we are beginning to challenge things. You know, I always say if we give Zambia 20 trillion or to change this country, we can never change it until we change our mindset. Then we're going to change a country and a continent. And I've come to realize that we are our biggest enemy. I think sometimes we always want to say the West or Africa is where it is because of the West. No, it's not their problem. We are the biggest problem, and we need to start looking inside. It's the trends, it's the traditions. We've allowed ourselves to land us in the trouble we are in as a continent. So we need to get out there and become a voice to be able to shape, you know, what we're doing. And that's why, and this is one thing that breaks my heart, because industries like what these gentlemen are doing are industries we need to empower. We need them to be successful in what they do. They need everything, because they're the voice. They're speaking to the people. If we empower them, they'll begin to change mindsets. They'll begin to change how men think. And I've always said, if men will change, the world will change.
Exactly.
Men, we are the biggest culprits. Until we put our game straight, we'll never be able to change this country. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I suggested, I think we're ready for a female president, and they made statements about women, and my heart was broken. So if men start looking at women in a different angle and perspective, that these are women that can lead this country, and I strongly believe women can. If we have the right women, we give them an opportunity, and like they said, we have to start clapping for these women. We have to start cheering them, you know. And I know a lot of some guys will say you're just trying to suck up. No, it's not sucking up. It's just the right responsibility. When we have a chance, I'll quote a scripture when God says, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church." A lot of men don't read that scripture because there's a word that says nourish her. That word nourish means that a man must be able to give life to his woman. You sustain her. If your woman looks down and dead, you are the cause.
It's your fault.
It's your fault. But when men hear things like this, they get upset. But it's biblical. Go read your Bible. You know, and you will see how God looks at the picture of a woman. Nourish her. It means sustain, give her life, let her begin to glow. So if she's not glowing, don't go look for anybody to blame.
Because also there's a debate that, well, this whole women empowerment, is it really worth all this fuss? Women must just sit and, you know, listen.
Well,
it is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
But you see, when men stand up and begin to push the women, we will not even start saying women should go back and sit. Why should they sit when God created them to be the helpers? You know, I mean, Barack Obama would have never been successful at what he does if there wasn't a Michelle Obama. Because almost for 20 years, I think 15 years of their marriage, Michelle is the one that sustained Barack Obama. Barack Obama was doing community work and pushing all those things. But that woman was successful, and she took care of her home, she took care of Barack Obama, and she pushed.
All right.
Until
she was employed before he was.
Exactly.
We have a caller on the line. This discussion is getting more interesting. We have a caller. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, and how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Who are we speaking to?
You're speaking to Margaret within Lusaka.
Margaret, go ahead.
All right. I'd like to participate in the program by saying that we are really grateful with the men that, like Bifro and Magg 44, that are trying by all means to empower women, or rather support women so that they can empower themselves. But it's quite obvious also that the other men out there that do not support gender between men and women, because they fear and they don't have the courage to stand up against women. They fear that women can be more powerful than them. So we really appreciate, as women, as ladies, and as girls, for people that are able to talk on our behalf. Most especially, I would also like to encourage those who are listening from out there that they should gather the courage and support their wives, children, sisters, and daughters, instead of them violating them, beating them, maybe defiling children, and doing all sorts of evil to women or girls. So that's my participation. And then also, I must say, Bifro is one of the people that is doing a really great job in terms of women. Almost all his songs talks about women. We salute you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Quick comments on Margaret's issue and comment, and she's brought out a very important issue, the fact that so many men, we look at men as our as our protectors,
Exactly.
as our partners, as our friends. But these are the same people who are defiling our babies, our women, our sisters, our mothers, our grandmothers.
Right.
What goes on in these minds?
It's crazy. For me, I actually feel bad that I know Steady Divine said something like, we're in a society where there are a lot of bad men. For me, I actually believe that in our society there are a lot of good men, but the good men are passive. They're so quiet and they can't speak out for women. And I do agree with what Margaret says. But it's the bad men that we always hear about because they are reported against, because they are always making headlines when they beat their wives, when they defile the children. You know, the good men are so quiet, and that's why it's very, very important that the good men stand up and come out and be on platforms like this so that people can see that good men are there, and other good men should be able to join and say, oh, that's the way to go.
All right, another caller. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon. Could you kindly speak up?
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Nita.
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
I just want to thank this law and Magg for they really empower us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. She just called to say that.
You know, even when we were speaking, I feel the biggest thing also is fear. You know, sometimes,
and Margaret did bring that up.
Yes,
She said a lot of men, they're scared.
They are scared. We are, because
women
again,
take
it's
over
like,
the show.
not only that, you're scared, like if you're with your boys, right? And then you're like, you don't want to exactly say like a sissy, you know what I mean? You don't want to, so you're thinking, okay, no, I can't tell my friends that, no, like even me just saying, when I'm trying to say I love you to my wife, you have to first hide it. That's you, babe. And then you find one of your friends. No, I wasn't talking to us. You know what I mean? So there's that thing of
men to show affection.
To show affection, exactly. And I feel, and that's what I talk about. I emphasize on this album. It's being brave only is what we need people to be. Awesome. You know, to not be afraid of what has been set as, okay, this is the majority look at things like this, and this is how things are. No, we need we need to break barriers, exactly. And being fearless is what enables us to when you say, okay, look, I love my wife and I'm not ashamed to say it, I'm not afraid to say it. You know, like that, you're breaking barriers. And now we wouldn't have known if we never spoke out about our women and spoke about women in general. We wouldn't have known that there are people like Margaret who respect what B-Flow is doing. Exactly. You know what I mean? So if B-Flow never took the initiative to make that album, no one would have. He wouldn't have known that, no, this album, people are going to appreciate it until he actually does it. Yes. You know, and that's what we need. We need action. We need men of action. We need even women of action. Because I know that, I mean, I've seen my wife is in many, you know, these groups and things that, so like, you know, like, it's a fear that also women have. You know, they'll be like, no, don't let him, no, don't do that, he'll leave you. You know what I mean? You don't confront him about this situation because he will leave you. You know, and there's all this fear. I'm not trying. Yes, there's all this dying inside. I'm not trying to say, you know, let's start a war, but you know, they to some degree we do need to fight for if we want to see a change. We do need to be able to not take nonsense and say, okay, look, you know what, this is not happening. This is not right, and get things done. And I feel that's what gentlemen like Steady Divine and B-Flow are doing. You know, they're going out there and actually acting towards what they are thinking.
Steady?
And then I think another thing we need to start looking at is also just to challenge the women out there. We need to get to a place where we need to start to speak to women to really believe in who they are.
Okay, let's get this call. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon, sir. Who are we speaking to?
This is Cher calling from Lusaka.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to air my views on the comments that was made. Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. That there are a lot of bad men. I think that is a hypothetical statement that should be clarified because there are people like B-Flow there and a lot of others that are not coming out as celebrities to come and speak for women.
Yeah.
Then the other thing I want to clarify again is there are a lot of women breaking up homes. You find that a happily married couple, there's this career, especially those at colleges, breaking up these homes, and you come out to always criticize men a lot. But what is it that is being done to educate those girls, especially at Ulda, NIPA, those colleges? There are a lot of girls breaking up marriages. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your contribution. Quick comment on that.
Okay. He's spoken about people criticizing men all the time. And I feel that I think Steady Divine was about to speak about something to do with women having self-esteem.
Courage, yeah.
Yes, and also them believing in themselves, you know? Yeah.
Okay,
It starts with them.
Well, I think you see the key thing, thank you, Biflo. I think the key thing is we also need to start to speak to the minds of our women to let them realize their worth and their value. Because, I mean, you heard a statement Biflo made. He says, the women were saying we didn't tell him to be our voice. So sometimes it's very painful to fight for someone who doesn't want to vote for. So sometimes this campaign becomes confusing because you're getting there, you're standing up to be a voice and saying this is what you deserve. But they'll still go back, you know, and go and eat from a place they're not supposed to eat from. And this is one thing I've said. When I go, I look forward to having my daughters. The first Valentine's date, I'm going to be the man. So if I can love her from that point, she's going to date me first before she dates any other man. Then we're instilling in our girls the value to know your worth and what your value is. So when you walk in the street, you will not walk not knowing who you are because your father told you, you know, how to be a good man. I have a son. You know, every time I'm with him, we are ladies, I'll tell him, go open. My son is 6 years old. You know, and one time he says, Dad, it's tough to be a man. He says, it's worth it. He had to go and, okay, I'm going to open the door. And he's only 6. So mentorship starts at a tender age. Mentoring our sons, becoming the right examples. I gave an example 2 days ago. Every Monday I do what I call Men Monday, and Wednesday I do Girl Wednesday. And I said, you see, my biggest responsibility is to be the best man. So that when my son begins to ask me questions about life, I have a CV to tell him. This is how a man acts, this is how a man looks like. So being a man is a tough job. You gotta be ready. I mean, even chickens can father, you know, but that doesn't make them real men. So you have to be the man that is gonna take full responsibility. But just a big thing to our ladies, please know your value. Don't undersell yourself, regardless of what situation you are in. Because, I mean, like the gentleman who called, he's talking about young girls dating men that are married and you're getting them. And remember, ladies, it's a seed you're sowing for a future marriage. Because if you are sowing to break someone's home, that seed is going to follow you. So we need to tell these women, and it's also lack of identity. You choose to be ATM, you choose to be number 2 when you can be the queen. I could slap you, honestly.
You know, and
forgive me. No, that's called laying on of
All right, Magg, you on?
When you were speaking, I was thinking with regards to what I don't know if I heard right, but he was saying, you know, also basically he was saying some women are also bad. You know, it's not just the men who are bad, and which again brings us back to us individuals being the change we want to see. You know what I mean? Let's not say no, they are bad people, so therefore even me I'm bad. You know what I mean? Even things like corruption. Like I've seen situations where someone tried not to be corrupt, but it would have been a lot easier if he was corrupt. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that he's done the right thing to be corrupt just because it's easier. It's not going to be an easy change. Is not easy. Change is not easy, and we are going to take. It's going to take the effort. It's going to take a lot of effort from us, and not looking at, oh, look, this is the way society is, so let me just fit in. Then you are doing nothing. You know what I mean? And the people who change the world are the ones who say, no, okay, this is the way the world is, all right, but I'm going to create my own world. So if you want to come and live in it, we are welcome. You know what I mean? And so I think we need to, as we shouldn't say, no, these are bad people, and we should always try to counteract against
and avoid the blame game.
The blame
Before I
game.
lose my quick thought on what he was saying, when everything went wrong, and I was to give this point, when everything went wrong in the Garden of Eden, God didn't look for Eve. He looked for Adam.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, on that thought, let's take this call. Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Who are we speaking to?
Hi, how are you?
Who are we speaking to?
Hello?
We
Hello?
can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you.
You're speaking to Faith
Okay, go ahead.
from Dola.
Okay.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hi, Faith.
Go ahead.
Maybe she's
Hello?
just on the phone.
I
but
just
she
wanted to
knows what to do.
contribute on this program. That's my first time watching it. Yeah, I love the job that these guys are doing, like B-Flow and Magg 44 and
Thank you.
the other brother there. I just want to appreciate you guys. You are really doing a good job. Continue with this so much. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling all the way from Dola. Fantastic.
Chilufya,
knowing
that's
that-
so motivating, I'm
Yeah.
telling you. You know, so many times some of us get frustrated because, you know, you're trying to fight for something and then you feel like people are not even appreciating what you're doing. I think it's one thing to appreciate me and another to appreciate what I'm doing. I think I would appreciate if I understand that people appreciate what I do because it's a contribution I'm trying to make to society. And to hear people say all those great show gratitude like that, I think for me it's amazing and motivates me to want to continue doing this work.
Right. Quickly before we end the show, there's also the issue of women not supporting themselves.
Very true.
They call it, pull her down,
Pull her down.
syndrome,
PhD.
where one woman, you know, is doing something phenomenal, and women are like, "Psh,
Yeah.
she's just a show off,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know, it's just discouraging, really. It's great that this country has, for the first time ever, a female vice president,
Yeah.
and that should be somewhere we should all start from and celebrate that particular
Yes.
person.
Yes.
But what can you tell? What is your message to the women as we get into 2016 in terms of moving forward and leaving the past behind, supporting one another and encouraging one another? B-Flow, you can go first.
Please remember to change your mindset now. Make it a resolution for 2016 that you will be able to support a fellow woman next year, and let it just be a new beginning where everybody should support each other. Before we don't even have to be here today to speak for women if the women will be able to appreciate themselves and also speak for themselves, but because everybody just thinks about themselves and that they are the best, it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
So please appreciate others before you even appreciate yourself.
All right.
Ultimately, you know, like I said before, love is the key. So, a lot of women, I feel like sometimes when a woman sees another woman succeeding or a man sees another man succeeding, and they're just like, this woman probably, you know, slept with somebody, or this man probably did some sort of corrupt thing. I feel like that sometimes comes from the fear of, okay, we are not succeeding.
Yeah, like I'm still at the same
yes, me,
point.
I'm still in the same point. So it's like trying to conquer that fear with all that malice. You know, I think the most important thing is love. If you read Corinthians 13, 1 Corinthians 13, it just explains what love is. And I feel that both women and men need to begin to love each other. When you have love for somebody, you want only the best for them. Even if and I feel wanting the best for other people gives you the best at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Amen
That
to that.
we are all about the people who surround us.
Yeah.
And when you show someone else love, why should that
Love will
person
come back
hate
to
you?
you.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Steady.
Well, when I first saw B-Flow being called out by Barack Obama, I was actually going
God.
on.
Yeah.
I was going
Everyone
on
was
radio.
happy.
That I think 30 minutes before I saw the clip, you know, Barack Obama. That's the first statement I made when I went on air and says, "Come on, guys, we need to clap and celebrate B-Flow."
Can we do it now?
Thank you.
Well done. I mean, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
When women see other women succeeding and becoming better, as we're encouraging you as men, you also need to encourage yourselves on how you'll be able to support each other, clap for one another, celebrate one another, and also decide to become successful. Like Magg said, if you're not succeeding, you become bitter. You're looking for opportunities to slander somebody because nothing is working, you know, in your life. So you're looking for someone to be able to slander. So women will support you, but go out there and support each other and make it happen. And my passion is for women. Also, women need a lot of mentorship to be able to tick at the global level. We've seen local champions. We want to see international champions.
Amen to that. Thank you very much. And I quickly, Mr. Producer, if you could allow me quickly just to share this. You were talking earlier about how children see what we do. Yesterday, my husband sent me a message saying my son, my 5-year-old, was having a conversation with daddy, and he was saying that he wants to have his wife work at ZNBC. And he wants to work where daddy works, and he wants to be dropping his wife at work and picking her up.
Exactly. Great example.
So those are examples of what we do. We're role models.
Exactly.
So thank you very much for coming through to the program.
Thank you. And may I take this opportunity to say you are doing such a great job, Chilufya, yourself. You are such a great example of what a woman should be.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. I'm so humbled. Thank you very much. We'll continue the discussion next week, Wednesday, when we have the females in studio. And they'll give us their perspective of how we are supporting one another, if we are, and how grateful we are that the women are taking part in supporting us as well, the men, that is. Well, this is where we wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week, Wednesday, same channel, same place. Bye-bye.